There are multiple measures of success in art. Some artists work for the pleasure of producing, and they really don't care about external recognition. Some really want to make an impact in their immediate community. However, the traditional measure of success is really...
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Johnston Cheja and this is Let's Talk Art. Today I would like to talk about something that would interest most artists: how artists succeed. When we think about success in art, it's mostly measured by external recognition. Some artists create for the pure joy of expressing themselves and they don't care about the fame or the money. Others, however, dream of making a lasting impact on their community or even globally. But traditionally, success in art is measured by what gallery has shown your work, what collector has bought your work, what museum, who has your work, who has owned it previously, are they selling, are they entering into auction houses, how much are collectors willing to pay for your work. So what drives this type of success? When I was in school, I never dreamt of becoming an artist, but I had friends who were passionate about art. The one thing I noticed is that they all believed in one thing. Their job was to paint, to draw, to sculpt, or whatever their art form is, and society would eventually discover them because of how good they are. But let's be honest, is this really the way to success as an artist? Well, I used to think like this as well. I thought that the only path to success was me just being good, and in fact, I thought talent was enough. I thought that if I was, of course, that is very important, but I thought that me being talented was enough to bring success my way. And art is different from every other form of performance. If you're a runner, for instance, we can measure how fast you are by using a stopwatch. If you're a boxer, your wins and your losses will tell us how good you are. Of course, we know how good Anthony Joshua is. The problem with art is there is no stopwatch and no clear metrics to say this is good or this is bad. Especially in contemporary art, it's difficult to look at a particular painting and be like, this is good, or this is bad, or this is valuable, this is not valuable. The value of an artwork depends on the complicated web of connections. Who is the artist? Where have they shown their work before? Who owned it before? And who owns it now? So how do these connections tie back to art history? If we want to truly understand how value is created in the art world, we will need to map out these networks of relationships. And that's exactly what this group of researchers did. Take a listen.
A few years ago, we did that. Through this mapping process, we ended up getting a worldwide map of institutions where it turned out the most central nodes, the most connected nodes, happened to be also the most prestigious museums. MoMA, Tate, Gagosian Gallery, some of the biggest museums worldwide. The most interesting aspect of this network was that it allowed us to predict artistic success. That is, if you give me an artist and their first 5 exhibits, I put them on the map and we could fast forward their career, where they're going to be 10, 20 years from now. And the predictions were incredibly accurate. You have to think from the perspective of the gatekeepers. And the gatekeepers are the institutions. And the network of how the gatekeepers are connected and who is paying attention to whom is really the one that determines your access to the art market as an artist. Because the path towards the center is much faster if you are already next to it. And it's very difficult for somebody to enter from the periphery.
But here's the twist. The gatekeepers, the mega galleries, the museums, they're the ones who hold the key to the art market. If you're already close to them, it's much easier to break through. But if you're far from them, your journey becomes much longer. But however, this is not impossible. Take a listen.
The path towards the center is much faster if you are already next to it. And it's very difficult for somebody to enter from the periphery. But our research did show that it's possible. We ended up finding about roughly 250 artists who really started from the bottom, from the periphery, from unknown institutions, and made it all the way to the top. And what the data indicated is that they did not follow the traditional advice of how you succeed as an artist, which is get a gallery and work with them. That is, the gallery will guarantee your future. Rather, these artists who managed to go from the periphery to the center, at the beginning of their career, they worked with many, many institutions. They practically exhibited everywhere they were willing to show their work. And through these many random acts of exhibitions, they ended up hitting a couple of better connected nodes that offer the path for them towards the center. It's really reconfirmed of how important networks are in art and how important it is for an artist to really understand the networks in which their work is embedded in order to guarantee that sooner or later the work will arrive where he or she dreams to arrive at.
So what does this tell us? Success in art is all about talent, yes, but it's also about understanding the network in which your art exists. It's about getting your work seen in as many places as possible, even if they are not big name galleries right away. So in the case where your art is far from the right circle, just know that there's a chance that it might take you longer to get to where you want to be. Talent is what gets you in the door, so I would advise that you take time to sharpen your skill properly before you even bring yourself out to the public. That's why these researchers could predict an artist's future by looking at their first 5 exhibits. They could see which galleries were ready to work with them. One last thing to consider is location. Where you are in the world matters in the art world. Artists in big art hubs like New York and London have an easier time connecting with influential galleries. And even in Nigeria, for instance, you see that it's easier for artists who are living in Lagos to exhibit their works in galleries in Lagos because Lagos is the art hub of Nigeria. But then again, it's not impossible for artists living outside of these hubs to break through. It just might take a bit of persistence and a keen understanding of how the art world works. So in conclusion, artistic success isn't just about how talented you are, even though that's very important. It's about where you've exhibited, who is paying attention, and how well your work is connected to a large network. And while talent gives you access to these networks, it's your understanding of them that helps your career take off. So if you're an artist, think about the long game. Keep showing your work wherever you can and don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. You never know which connection might be the one that takes you to the top. If you want to find out more about how to approach a gallery, click on this video. This one or this one or this one. One of them. Anyways, my name is Johnson Cheta. I hope you've enjoyed my little talk and you've learned something from it. If you have, please don't forget to like, subscribe and share my content. I'll see you in the next video.